Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Adobe Live. My name is Sen Lagos. And today we're going to be going through a really, really interesting project with our guest, Zia, Zia Suarez. But before we get to that, just want to let you know, if you are on YouTube, jump into Behance and join us on the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. I want to know where you're joining us from in any part of the world. We're here from 2 different places today. I think we're in Madrid and Texas. Pretty awesome, right? So far we have Luda Salamat. Hey, how's it going? Oliver, Andrews, Annika, and we have Oliver. Thanks for supporting us always on the chat. Also, I want to encourage you to check out some of the previous streams. Annika was going over Adobe Express with some really cool insights on a workflow within that program, which is really nice to know. So without further ado, as we always say, Zia, can you introduce us a little bit into your project and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, my name is Zia. I'm from South Africa, but I'm currently living in Barcelona, Spain. I work as a freelance content creator, so I work a lot with brands and campaigns. I also work a lot in front of the camera, and the platforms where I mostly share my work is social media, so like Instagram and Pinterest. I do have a website. It is presetsbazia.com, which is strictly just for my presets, but I'm going to just show you a little bit of my Instagram profile so you can kind of get the idea of the type of content I create there. So my photography style is usually like lifestyle. I'm really inspired by the ocean, surfing, underwater photography, and then also like a bit of skating and adventure travel, those kind of things. So I'm really excited to show you guys how I prepare my posts for social media today.
That's really cool. And what programs are we going to be using today, Zia?
So we're going to be using Lightroom and a little bit of Photoshop as well.
Nice. A really cool combo.
Sorry.
I always love those.
It's Lightroom Classic, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We all get confused between Lightroom and Lightroom.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So that's really cool. I was checking out your Instagram too. Really cohesive, I've noticed. Is that on purpose?
Yeah, so it's actually taken me a while to sort of start creating like my own style and of like editing and sticking to that. And I think presets help a lot with that as well to keep that cohesiveness. So actually today, should I just go through what I have planned for today?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So today we're going to edit a couple of lifestyle photos, and for the first photo, I'm going to introduce just like a preset, just so that we can know like how to use a preset, what they are, why we use them, and using the basic panel. Then we're going to edit some photos from scratch. So then we're going to be also experimenting a little bit with different types of style and exploring what kind of style you want to go for in editing. And we'll be using the tone curve for that and also the color grading tools. Yeah.
Oh, quite a bit for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so are we going to jump into Lightroom first or Photoshop first?
So we're going to do Lightroom first. Photoshop will be like the final kind of thing. And it's just like one sort of like hack or trick that I do. But yeah.
We love hacks.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So should I get started?
Ooh, Luda says, beautiful. Tuning in. We have James tuning in from Ottawa, Canada. See, I knew we were from all over the world today. Yay. And also, Sean asks who takes the photos, and it's you too, right?
Yeah. So some photos I do, but mostly the ones that I post on my Instagram are of me, and I have amazing friends who are all photographers that help me. And yeah, so I have like quite a large friend group that are all photographers. I guess because we all have things in common. So yeah. It's super cool.
Yeah, real life collaborations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're going to jump into Lightroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you see my screen?
I think so. Looking good on this end.
Cool. Just okay. So we're going to start off by using a preset, just because I know a lot of people, they get a little bit intimidated by Lightroom or Lightroom Classic, and they don't know where to start. So what I suggest is just going through some presets and then just see what kind of mood you're going for. I'm just going to be using one of mine. I really like the New York one because it's like a lot of like city vibes. And what I'm going to be looking for. This photo was actually taken in Barcelona. So yeah. So for now, we're just gonna stick in the basic panel. Usually when I edit from scratch, I don't do too much here, but yeah, this photo is quite underexposed. So I'm just gonna pump up the exposure a bit so I can see what's going on. And basically what a preset is, it's like a configuration of settings that a creator has made, and they save it, and then you can apply it to other photos, and it keeps that cohesive sort of look between all the photos. But it doesn't work for every single photo. Usually you have to do a little bit of adjustments, but in this case, yeah, hopefully we don't need to do too much. So
Yeah.
here, as you can see, there's like a lot of lines and it's not perfectly straight. So one easy way to get your line straight is by going on the crop tool, and you can sort of adjust and make sure that your lines start lining up. You can press the O shortcut. I know it's on MacBook, but yeah, you can go through there and sort of adjust your lines like that. But since there's so many lines, I'm going to go down to the bottom and to the transform tool. And then we have the upright, sort of like these 4 lines, and you can use 4 different guided lines to start lining up your image. So I'm just gonna try find like 4 of the longest lines, maybe the bottom and the top. And then 2 vertical ones. This little like zoom square thing is pretty cool because you can actually see it, because otherwise I have to go too close to the screen and I don't want to really do that. Okay.
Where is that? This location it's really beautiful.
It's
a
in Barcelona.
cathedral.
It's a cathedral, yeah, Barcelona Cathedral.
Yeah.
So I actually did
Wow.
an Adobe walk a few weeks ago. I think it was like 2, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, on the 13th of August. And this is like some of the results that I captured. Let me see. Yeah, you see it's gonna say it. So you can only do 4 lines for this. So yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. I've been part of a lot of photo walks and I've learned so
Yeah.
much in each one. So a photo walk in Spain sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was super cool. And it's like, it's not even my city, but yeah, it was cool. Like nobody was like, oh, what does this building like represent?
Like plenty to see.
Yeah, there was just, oh, it was such a nice vibe. It was so much fun. So now we're just gonna start playing around a little bit with the shadows. It's a little bit dark, so I'm just gonna bring up the shadows, not too much. And then also try bringing highlights down to get a little bit more detail. But yeah, and then I think for contrast, we're pretty good. So I'm just gonna leave the contrast the way it is. And then, yeah, so in this preset, we have like a little bit of less clarity, a little bit of less saturation. It's just the type of style, different type of look. If you want, you could have your photo more crisp and have your clarity on 0 or higher.
Cool. Oh, we have a few folks on the chat. They
Yeah.
want to go on photo walks.
Oh yeah.
They're like, yes, I love photo walks.
Yeah, it was so much
Bring
fun.
them
Like,
back.
yeah, like the next day, everyone was like, I missed that. Like, when are you doing another one? And I was like,
Yes.
it's kind of like a once a year thing, but
It's like the real social media part, right? Like you get to meet people in real life.
exactly. Oh, it was so much fun. Like, if you can do one, like to whoever's in the chat, like just go for it and try build your own like little
Take
photography
your
community
camera.
in your area.
Yeah. They can feel intimidating, but just do it. You'll love it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So in this image, we have like quite a lot of distractions. We have like this red line and these like to like posters, I guess. There's actually a huge advertisement up here, so I didn't get that in the photo. So we could use the
Is there a reason why you don't like to get the advertisements in the photo?
I just want to sort of, it was a huge distraction. It was like super distracting. I'm all
Okay.
about like eliminating distractions out of my photos, which is what I'm gonna do
Gotcha.
now.
Hmm.
So I'm going to try do as many things as possible in Lightroom before we do hit Photoshop, because
Hmm.
to be honest, I feel more comfortable in Lightroom than in Photoshop.
Oh,
Um,
what
yeah.
what is it about it that makes you more comfortable? Because it's also Lightroom
Um,
Classic,
yeah,
which is like OG.
yeah. Yeah, it's just I've been using Lightroom for so much longer than I've been using Photoshop. So
Hmm.
yeah.
It's
Okay,
an
so
interesting
yeah,
entrance to design, right?
yeah,
I,
yeah.
mhm.
Um, so for now, okay, there's not much I can do in Lightroom. So I just want to make sure that I'm happy with all the colors that we have going on now, before I put this in Photoshop. And so where I'm going to show you a bit of a hack, because here, say now we want to crop for Instagram, which is 4:5. We're going to, I always try get like my subjects a little bit in the middle, and in this case they're like quite at the bottom. So yeah, I'm just going to show you a little trick with that. um Sorry, let's just undo that part. Okay, wait. Yeah, you just have to go like reset. Cool. So now I'm just gonna, you click on the thumbnail and then you say edit in Adobe Photoshop 2022.
Mm.
So here we go. Now we're gonna try get rid of the distractions in here because it's a little bit easier than in Lightroom. So I don't know if you use this tool, but the content aware fill,
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Yeah. Talk about removing distractions.
yeah, I mean it works pretty well. And then also this red
Do you,
line.
do you also have that debate of do you like it? Do you like to do any stamping more in Photoshop versus Lightroom, or has that improved? I know there's been a lot of different changes in there.
Oh, in Lightroom?
Yeah. Do you like it better in Lightroom or in Photoshop, but like workflow wise?
Um, I it depends. It depends.
Mm.
But yeah, I prefer like workflow in Lightroom. Yeah. Okay, that's not working. Sometimes this tool works really well. Just needs to try get the right spot.
Can you fill us in a little bit about what is content aware tool in your own words?
So it's kind of like for me, I don't know, it's like kind of like the heal tool,
Mm.
where you're like, it like fills, it kind of predicts what should be there without the distraction, if that makes sense. And yeah, it just like fills in what like in the content of what it thinks it should be there. Or
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it picks from its surroundings.
yeah. So okay, now here we usually go. So this is going to be for Instagram. We're gonna give a little bit more context, and also here we can start putting I'm like obsessed with vertical and straight lines and symmetry and everything, and the way that I photographed it wasn't symmetrical, even though in Lightroom Classic where I straighten all the lines and everything, it's still like when I crop it afterwards in 4:5 for social media, for Instagram, it's just
Hmm.
it's not perfect. So
Yeah.
this is why I like using Photoshop, and this is like kind of like the hack. There's like a crazy storm happening right now. So if you see like lightning and stuff, yeah,
Oh, wow. We have an entire light show.
yeah, it is really wild out there right now.
Um, yeah, I
Okay,
love storms. It's nice.
yeah, they're super cool. So, okay, let's just for the sake of this example, let's just say we want this whole we want to get a little bit of the ground as well, just so our like subjects are a little bit more in the middle. So this kind of reminds me of like the old Instagram where people would upload like white borders because the cropping wasn't right for Instagram at the time.
Yeah,
so
a throwback.
Exactly. So this is what we would do like in 2012. But yeah, I found a hack to try to like do full screen of your photo. So we're gonna do, since these lines, the stairs are kind of like predictable, I mean, like if we use the content aware tool, it's going to be able to move over what the context is in the back. So just do the content aware tool. Oh, by the way, you just do a selection and you press delete or backspace, and then this box will pop up for those who don't know. And this should fill in the stairs. Okay, I tried. I think it did a pretty good job. So let me just do that part there. Okay.
Yeah, I sometimes find myself using the content aware tool to remove tidbits on the floor that maybe are distracting. Starts to be like it could be like a stain on the floor, and maybe it's just absolutely not adding anything to it.
Like
so,
the screen thing is actually really annoying. Even though we could do this in Lightroom as well, I'm just going to do that. Yeah, it looks a bit better. It's not green. There was actually a cigarette there as well. So we're starting to see a little bit like we're filling up the space. And if we do try to do the content aware full of the building, it is not going to, I think it's not going to do a great job. So that doesn't work. So what I do in this case is I am going to select this whole area. Do you know what I'm going to do?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, just the idea, I'm stuck on the idea of allowing the AI to create this incredible intricate building.
Yeah, it didn't work though. So
yeah,
so what I do is
it's fair to think about how the simpler the area, or the more basic the area could be. In this case, the stairs are very simple. The easier it is to copy it.
Exactly. So now we've done like 2 techniques. We've done the content aware to try fill the background, and now we've also stretched parts of the image to try like fill the missing space. So now we can already see we have a lot more context going on in the image. And okay, we're just not, this part is not, I don't know why it's not working now. It worked earlier. There we go. Okay, well, good enough.
It's also a great technique to use when you have like a white backdrop. When you're doing in studio photographs and you want to just stretch that white backdrop because, maybe you can't afford a gigantic white backdrop. Yeah.
If it's white, it's so much easier. But so this is just like a little trick that I sometimes use. And I've been doing this for years and nobody's ever noticed it. So yeah, it's
here's the secret.
Yeah. But as you can see, like the left-hand side is a little bit more stretched. But I mean, you can just play around with it. I'm sure you guys can do it much better than I can. And then the best part about this is that you can just save it. And then when you go back to Lightroom, it's there. So
we have a question from Ferry. It says, do you sell your photos? If so where?
What?
If you sell your photos?
Oh, no.
No.
I do sell presets though, but no, not my photos.
Oh, you sell presets. That's awesome.
Yeah, on my presets page. It's like my website, but it's just presets. It's like my work's not on there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is it a collection of presets, right? I think I run into it.
Yeah. I have like 80 something.
Wow.
Yeah, just
that's a lot.
like, it's just over the years. I mean, I think it's been like 5 years of creating presets, so it's just been like a lot to collect. Yeah.
That's a great vault of resource for
Yeah,
artists in general.
yeah. I mean, I do have my favorite ones that I use
Mhm.
quite often because yeah, I just feel like to keep the cohesive kind of look, it's better to yeah,
Yeah.
just use a few. Okay, so
Yeah.
now we have this one where it was like a little bit like not in center, and then this one's a little bit more in center and ready for Instagram. So any questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, I think we have Bruce asking, how long have you, if you've been taking photographs, how long have you been doing it? Is there a moment or experience that led you to deep dive into the world of photography?
Okay, so actually, I didn't go through this. So I actually started with, I was working as a social media manager for restaurants,
Mm.
and I ended up doing photography for them as well. I had not a lot of experience, but I would just get my friends and I would just be like, yes, like food, like just
Yeah.
interact, and I'll just do some photos. And then I started this is when I really started creating like professional content for social media. This was around like 5 years ago. And then yeah, then this got me into like lifestyle photography, like really understanding like how to, do like lifestyle stuff kind of content. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's where I started. It was restaurants because I wasn't very good at food photography, but I did enjoy shooting like my friends and the lifestyle around the restaurants. Yeah.
Mm. That's
Okay.
so
Yeah. I
cool.
wanted to
That was
show that with me.
5 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
When I
So now
started
you
doing
do a
them.
little bit more of the things you're interested in.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
which are just to give us insight.
Oh, like photography, videography. I love editing like short inspirational videos as well. I don't often have the time, but when I do, especially if it's for like a brand campaign, it's my favorite.
Yeah. I notice you also have a lot of surfing.
Yeah.
Is that a big part of your community?
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
I also started surfing when I was like around 14 years old, but I didn't really like I started university and then I stopped. So I wasn't really committed. And then
Mm.
ever since I got into this lifestyle photography, a lot of brands, like surfing brands, wanted to work with me again. So I was able to travel and like go surfing. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
it was super cool. So yeah.
Yeah, more time for photography too.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it's a little bit like, okay, now when I go on a surf trip, I have to take all the gear and all the camera and stuff. And yeah,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's cool. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, yeah,
Yeah.
reality. Tomorrow we're
Mhm.
going to be going into like surf photography and water editing, but I'll explain a little bit more about that towards the end of
Oh,
the session.
nice. There you
Yeah,
go. Okay.
cool. So here, so we've edited. So this is the one that we put in Photoshop. That's the 4 or
Mm.
5 that we've done like the little trick and stuff. And then for this one, we have all the information. So when you do save it in Photoshop, all the information, your editing information will be gone. So you need to make sure that you have your copy. It automatically makes a copy. So have this one. So I do this often. So I have this photo which is taken on the same day. It is super underexposed, I know, but it was before. It was around like right before sunrise. This was also on my photo walk, so I'll put it a little bit higher so you can see. But it was around the same. It was the same morning, so I want to use the same colors for this. So I'm gonna click on this photo, then I'm gonna I think it's command, and then click on the other photo, and then I'm gonna say synchronize. And what I'm going to synchronize is basically all the work that I've done on Lightroom, but except the crop, the spot removal, transform, and masking. Because if you synchronize that, you're going to have like weird patches in different places. So I'm going to synchronize that and see what happens. Okay, so we sort of have like the same colors, but we still need to I'm going to try to do all of this in the basic panel. So everyone who's like a beginner or wants to learn about Lightroom, I'm just going to, so we've got a preset, we've applied a preset on this, and we're just going to use the basic panel. So, and yeah, it's also super important to also rather, I think, underexpose your photo than overexpose, because when you underexpose, you still have a lot of information in the photo in the raw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good tip. It's almost another hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of folks overexposed, but that underexposure maintains a lot of the detail and information that you can
Exactly.
pull in Lightroom, like this
Exactly.
photo.
Yeah. So I'm just going to use that tool again to align, I think this bridge, this like that sort of fringe image. Okay. So this photo is also taken in Barcelona. I also took this during the Adobe photo walk. And the whole idea was also to encourage people to use Lightroom mobile and like all the new features and stuff. So this is what's going on in the photo. I'm just going to turn the highlights down a little bit. And yeah. But one thing I really love about Lightroom is that it really it stores so much, like it captures all the information that's stored in a photo. So I mean, if you go to like the before and after, it's crazy how much of a difference it is.
Mm-hmm. We
So I
have a
want to,
question from
yeah.
Nicholas. Is there a way to remove the background around, say, if one person, even if they're all on the same layer? That's a tricky question. To just remove the background, the entire background.
So maybe like on which, like remove the
Probably the.
background in this photo or what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
in
yeah,
Photoshop, yeah.
Photoshop is really good with that. I think in the properties panel it has a remove a background feature.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
would have like selected subject and then tried
Or
to
select the subject, yeah,
invert and
backwards.
then delete background.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could do
yeah.
that.
And if you're
In Lightroom,
familiar with masking tools, those are really
yeah,
good too. So it's not destructive.
yeah. So the masking tool, I'm just gonna go over it now quickly because tomorrow we're gonna do more masks, but I don't think I'm
Mm,
gonna do a lot of masks today. So we have the select subject mask in Lightroom.
mm.
Wow, it does a pretty good job. And
Yeah.
then you can go, oh wait, is it here? You can say invert mask. And then you can also like remove the background. I don't know. You could
Yeah.
do something like that. But Photoshop's the one. I'm always trying to do things in Lightroom to avoid Photoshop, but yeah, that's something you need to do in Photoshop. But it's super
Yeah.
easy. I think
That's a
it's the
fairly new
same.
feature.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Cool. So
It's
let's
also
just
kind
delete
of
that.
great if you want to edit just the background. If you want to make that
Yeah,
background lighter, isolate.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a great way to use that.
Oh wait, I'm still on. Still have this mask. Okay, there we go. So yeah, now I'm just sort of playing around with the highlights.
Nicholas is really impressed. He said,
What really?
I'm using Lasso and Procreate. Wow, that was insane. It's like mind
Oh
blown.
my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are
You
never
never
gonna
know.
invite me back.
There's these little nuggets that some of us, it takes us years to get to.
Oh yeah, okay.
That could be completely like low-hanging fruit and we don't realize it till like 5 years later. I've been
Okay.
there.
That is so cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so like I like to keep this photo a little bit more moody, and a little bit warm. So I mean you can play with, if you want a more cool photo, you can go more to like lower the temperature and you can get more like of a cool vibe. Or warmer. I personally prefer warmer photos. Yeah, what do you prefer, Sim?
It depends, definitely.
Mm.
I think a nice balance between the two, where if there's blue hues, I definitely bring in
Yeah.
a lot more warmth. But if there's like really orangey hues, I love bringing in some like dark blue shadows to create a balance. That's
Yeah,
always
that's
fun.
cool.
Yeah, mystery is kind
Yeah.
of interesting. I mean, but my photography is a bit more urban. So it depends on
Yeah,
what the energy is in your photograph.
exactly. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes like even when you're editing a photo, it automatically becomes warm or or cool,
Yeah.
and you can't really, it feels a bit forced when you do try
Right.
to change it. Yeah. But also my favorite tool is also the white balance tool. Sometimes it doesn't really work. Oh gosh. Okay. So I think her top was kind of white. See, it goes a little bit too. So we know this is a warm photo. This has got to be a warm photo, but in this case, that didn't work out.
Yeah, you're in this hall. So I imagine all the light that's bouncing is
Yeah.
definitely bouncing off the walls, and it's that warmer hue even on her
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it like that. It looks really nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes I just don't know when to stop. So yeah.
Right. That is the artist's Achilles heels. Like, why, when is it over now?
Yeah. So
Just
if
bring in
you
your
think
friend to determine that.
if you think that looks cool, then sure. Let's leave it. And then another like sort of tab where you can start playing around that's also not too intimidating yet is the calibration, and just you can also play with like the shadows, the tint in the shadows, and then also like with the primary colors as well. But yeah, I mean, this is what I used in the beginning when I first started learning about Lightroom. And a lot of people would go for like the orange teal kind of like this. I remember everyone was posting this kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is where you would have done that. But cool. I like that.
Yeah. It's like an ode to cinema, that orange teal.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well then, if there's no more questions, I'll move on to the next photo. Wait, maybe should we add a little bit of a vignette? I feel like
Is it done or is it not?
it's not done yet. No.
It's not done. There's
Now
always
it's done.
something more.
Yeah, I think this was calling for a bit of a vignette. Or in the effects tool, yeah, you can play around with. Sometimes
Yeah,
you want to add more white, you can, depending on the photo. But this one,
yeah.
it's like sort of like gives you that feeling that it's you're surrounded by these like really tall buildings.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of folks run away from vignettes.
Yeah,
And it's interesting to see how you're using it.
yeah. I think that's
Hmm?
fine for now. I always go back to photos as well. Like I'll edit one and then the next day I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling like something else now, and then I'll completely
Yeah.
change it.
It's probably a good workflow anyways, because it refreshes your eye and then you can revisit it.
Yeah, cool. Well, if there's no
Hmm?
more questions, I'll go on to the next photo.
No questions yet, but we welcome them all. So definitely join the
Cool.
chat.
Okay. So this is like typical like lifestyle photos that
Mm.
I post often. And yeah, because we don't have a lot of vertical lines and crazy lines everywhere, we can just use the normal crop tool. By the way, we're going to edit this one from scratch, so no presets here.
Challenge.
Yeah. So let's see. So I think that's, yeah. And then I just go through like, I just press and then just make sure that the subject's in the middle, um, in this, like, yeah, in the square, and just all the lines are straight. Okay. So there's actually two kind of ways that we can edit this. So it all depends on your style and what kind of like editing style you want to look and you want to achieve. So first of all, I'm going to put the exposure up a bit just so that I can see what's going on. And then, so the two different things that we could do, since the sky is like quite interesting and a large part of the photo, we could turn the highlights down and get like a lot of detail in the clouds, and possibly because we can see a lot of the detail on the reflection of the sun as well. Or we could sort of almost like blur out the highlights. This is just another style. It's not for everyone, but you could blur it out a bit, and then you could also reduce the clarity, and then you'll get like more of like a glowy kind of effect. Like, yeah, something like that. So it's sort of like a mysterious kind of glowing thing. But I would, for this photo, I would turn the highlights quite down. And
Sometimes it looks really eerie and
yeah,
kind of nice.
a lot of photographers that I enjoy their work, they completely blow out the highlights, and I think it's
Hmm.
really, really, really cool. I do enjoy it, but for
It's
this
interesting
case,
to try all the things that they tell you not to do. Like,
yeah,
should I
I
use a
love
vignette?
that.
And you never know, it might apply to your photo just right.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just also about exploring, and if your photo is different, then that's great. And also because like a lot of the people that the photographers that I follow, like when they post a photo, I don't even need to see their name and I know like who it is, just the way that they have their subject or landscape and then the colors that they use and the way they use their contrast and highlights, for example. Like I know exactly, who it is. And I think that's when you really ultimately achieve your own unique editing style, which is I think everyone should try
Yeah.
to achieve.
It's like a signature almost. You can
Exactly. It's
recognize
your
that.
signature. Yeah.
Mhm.
So now so when I am editing from scratch, I sort of leave the basic panel for afterwards, because the basic panel is really cool if you want to like turn up the exposure out of the whole image. Like it's very general, so it will generally expose a whole image or underexpose a whole image. The same with contrast and the same with all the other tools in the basic panel. But this is my favorite, the tone curve. Because here you can really start like finding your like unique kind of style. And this is also where I create a lot of the presets. It's within this tone curve. So those who don't know the tone curve or who feel like they're a little bit intimidated about it, it's really simple actually. So your top right-hand corner is your highlights and the bottom left-hand corner are your shadows and your darkest points. And then in the middle, we have I think here it actually has the words. So yeah, top right,
Mm.
highlights, and then your lights is like in the middle section, and then your darks, and the lowest point is your shadows, so the darkest points. And this is where you can start doing like the general like tone of the image, and it has so much control, and because it has these like 4 different quadrants. And then with this curve, you can start putting points on each quadrant, and then you'll have like so much more control. So yeah, this is just affecting the highlights. See the highlights are pretty light here, and then the further down you go, the darker the highlights get, and the same for the shadows, so the darkest points of your image. The higher you lift it, the more. Actually, this is really cool for like film, because films like darks and shadows are not completely black. They have like a little bit of like texture, color,
Mhm.
and yeah.
We have a
So
question from YouTube. Do you follow the S curve principles?
yes, what is up with
Right.
that door? Like everyone does it. I was just about to do it now. I was gonna say like everyone, you need to do a slight S curve.
Yeah, something is
Yeah,
unlocked when you do that little S. I think
yeah,
it's a balance, right? You go up and then you go down and you go up.
exactly.
Mm.
But I've seen also people do like reverse S curves, and
Mm.
I've tried doing that, but it doesn't work. For the photos that I've tried it on, it doesn't work. But for some people, a reverse S curve does work. So yeah, the basic kind of like rule or saying is just to do like a simple S curve in each of your colors. So you have like the red, the green, and the blue, and then just bring it up. It
Yeah.
starts looking a little bit crazy at some point, but then once you get to the end, it sort of balances itself out.
Yeah. It's good to also just know what you're affecting. So, like, as you explained
Yeah,
earlier, where are the shadows and where are the highlights so that you know
yeah.
what are the elements that are being affected. We have a few notes here. Bruce says that there's a big difference. I love the sky and the reflections. We have Nixos asking this really, really big question. Why should we use Lightroom when we can do everything in Photoshop? Which I think I get that question quite often too. What do you think?
I would say, I mean, Lightroom, it's great for if you just want to edit color. Um, and I find it a lot easier to use. I mean, I think in Photoshop, if you're gonna change colors, you need to create layers and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure. So I
Yeah,
just
there's
think,
different methods.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think Lightroom is specifically designed to edit color in photos, and I mean that's just how I see it.
Yeah, you're definitely Team Lightroom. I can feel
Yeah.
it across
Oh
the screen.
yeah, I've said it multiple times.
Yeah, I think a big one for me is how you can batch edit. So
Oh
you don't
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
have to worry. I mean, sometimes it depends on what you do, right? But if you're a wedding photographer, I'm just going to think of that because they photograph so much in one day.
Yeah,
Um, Having to edit the same style that we were referring to,
yeah.
those presets come in
Yeah.
handy.
Yeah. In Photoshop, you
And
don't have presets, right?
Well, you have for other things. It wouldn't be specifically.
Like color,
There,
right?
yeah, there's.
Yeah.
I actually recently found a way to include like a code plugin, but that just goes into this space that is completely different in order to batch photos.
Oh.
Whereas in Lightroom, it's just easy workflow,
It's
right?
yeah, it's so much easier.
Yeah. Photoshop is a master of many things. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
You can also make it happen there if you really were
totally.
determined.
I agree. If you really were determined, yeah, I totally agree. But I
Yeah.
just think that it's a little bit more yeah, kind of easier in Lightroom. I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels like very specific, and I'd rather use a program or an app that's specific for what you're trying to do. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Photoshop's great. I love
A lot
Photoshop.
of effort is put into that on the back
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just been going through all the colors. So we're on the last one now. We're on the blue, but like you can start to see that the colors are changing, especially in the shadows. And we've got the blue coming back into the sky. Let's see what happens when we just do a little bit of this. And then, yeah, I just always love so if you place like a little point towards the end, then you can specifically just lift the shadows and not too much of the midtones. And
Mm.
then, yeah, it also, I mean, your airs can also kind of look so different as well. Like, it just depends on where you want to place it. And so there's like this funny graph thing in the back, right, of the tone curve. And that's basically just specifying the points of the photo, like where most of the sort of tones are. So here it would be like these are like the darks and then the highlights and not too many
Mm.
midtones. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You're almost creating your own preset filter. I'm using the terms all convoluted, but just every single edit you're making, the colors are changing and shifting a little bit, and each
Yeah,
one starts to look like a different mood.
yeah,
So it's interesting how
exactly.
much you can accomplish with just hanging out in the tone curve
Yeah.
alone.
I mean, like if we look at the before and after, yeah, it's quite a big difference in terms of like color and style.
Yeah.
Um, Another favorite tool is the color grading.
Hmm.
Like this, I love this tool so much. So it's these three circles, which is midtone, shadows, and highlights, and these basically just change the color of each of those. So in the middle, we have like the circle around a dot. That means nothing's happening. So if we just pull it out, the dot, and then we rotate around, we can start changing the hues of the highlights.
Mhm.
And the more we go away from the center, the more saturated the midtones get. So yeah, and then you can just sort of swing it around and start figuring out like what you like best. I kind of like this one because it was sunset, so you're starting to get a little bit of like the orange in the midtones.
Yeah, you can definitely stay true to the photo or make shift the sunset if you really want
Yeah,
to with playing with these things.
totally.
I have a question of my own.
Yeah.
What beach is this? I love that the sand looks black.
Oh, it's in Bali actually from
Oh,
a few years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like one of my favorite photos to edit because you have like all the reflections, you have, and you can just
Yeah.
do so many different types of styles with this one.
Yeah, the fact that the
So,
sand is black just makes it look like a glass mirror.
yeah.
Looks really cool.
So yeah, then these are the shadows that we can also start changing a bit. Also like more, I think maybe more warm, you know. Also kind of like the green.
Mm, yeah, I like the greens, those little kind of teal hues.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
all fan of those.
yeah. And then the highlights, I always try pick a color for like each of these. Like maybe it's a little bit too much, but
Hmm.
I do love changing all three of these.
I do find that I allocate like a mood to each color. So something green is a bit more, I don't know, dark,
Yeah,
or something pink is a little bit more romantic. Might be a bit
yeah, yeah,
stereotypical, but we do kind of see that in reflected in movies and posters.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Something
true.
warmer can feel like hot. Something um uh, blue, really dark blue can start to feel like darker, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it kind of
true.
depends. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. So I've done that for now, and then also I always find when you blend it, it does
Steve
make a
said
difference.
volcanic sand.
Oh yeah, volcano.
Is
That's
that
why
why
it's
it's
black.
black? Oh,
Yeah, that's why it's
wow.
black. Yeah,
Is that also the reason why Costa Rica sand is black?
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
that,
volcanoes there, right?
right. Yeah, that would make sense too.
Yeah,
It's so beautiful. Also attracts the sun a lot, so it's really hot.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it is super warm then. Okay, and then obviously I just want to get rid of these like little footsteps because they're annoying me. I should have done this in the beginning. Usually I do these kinds of things in the beginning, but I was so excited to just jump into the turn curve and
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Bruce Gonzalez says, Terry and Sean have definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things in Lightroom.
Oh,
Lightroom
cool.
Classic. Definitely worth checking out their streams, by the way. Cool. That's really awesome. I'm glad to hear that fellow streamers are also like getting you excited about a new program. It's definitely
Yeah.
one way to learn.
Yeah. And it's actually so easy. I find Lightroom like not I think in the beginning it looks intimidating, but it's really like I mean, you see exactly what you're changing and what you're doing to the
Right.
photos, and
It's real time.
yeah, and it's fun too. I really enjoy it.
You can get lost in it for
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
We have General Kenobi saying, I don't like sand. That's
Oh, I also
There's
don't
definitely
really.
team sand and there's definitely team please no sand on me.
Yeah, sand is a little bit annoying, especially when it's windy and you go to the beach and there's just sand everywhere. It's yeah,
Yeah.
not so fun.
I love it. I love sand. It
Yeah,
doesn't bother me.
really?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like a massage on your feet.
Oh
It's really
yeah,
nice.
yeah. But if you're a surfer, then like you constantly have sand like in random
Everywhere in the
places,
car. Yeah.
everywhere, in the sofa, like
How to
in the
get there.
shower. Yeah, right, like everywhere.
That's
Um,
funny.
yeah. Okay,
Bruce
now
is
we can
like,
just
we know, General, we know this about you. That's interesting.
yeah. Now, yeah, just changing a little bit of the tint, just bring back a little pink and a little bit more warmer.
Right. Subtle changes kind of make a huge
Yeah,
difference sometimes. It's a good rule to keep in mind.
yeah.
Doesn't have to be extreme.
And I often go back and just check that I haven't changed the colors like too much, especially in the sky, like the blue in the sky. I always try to keep a little bit of how it was.
Hmm.
And then we can actually, I think, maybe reduce clarity a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, this ended up being quite of a bright and light
Mm-hmm.
photo. Um,
Yeah, the brightness seems like an intentional spotlight. Sometimes you could
yeah,
just use it that way, as opposed
yeah,
to being technically correct. You can just kind of borrow it for something else.
yeah, that's true. Okay, any questions about this photo or the tools that I used before I go on?
Um, so James says, great histogram. Great histogram for editing. Do you use the histogram for
Not
editing?
really.
Not really. I know that was
Yeah,
definitely a last step for me. I've
yeah,
started to incorporate it more, but it's nice to read it. It's nice to kind of see, oh, okay, I corrected a few things along the way.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but
don't. Yeah,
it's one of those things that makes the picture um too technically sound, and that might not leave you room for, kind of breaking the rules and making it something completely different and unique. So it
yeah.
depends.
Exactly. Wait, the histogram, you just move it around like this and try to balance out the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
You
find
could
a lot
also
of control in that.
use it as a guide to kind of see where you've
What's,
sort of
yeah.
exposed your highlights or have
Mm-hmm.
underexposures. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gives you sort of a visual infographic of like what your photo looks like. Um, an interesting thing, elements like this also live in spaces like when you edit your videos in Premiere, there's also like
Mm.
visuals of what your colors look like. So that's an interesting passover onto other
Yeah.
programs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is
Hmm.
pretty useful, but I don't really use it that much. It's cool to look at and see like, what parts of the photos are and what you're
Yeah.
doing. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that can make like all of these programs a little bit more digestible is just focus on one thing you could really like rock at, whether it's
Yeah.
the tone curve or you just, yeah, you could be really good at just being able to master those highlights, and
Yeah.
it can change everything.
Yeah, that's true. So another one more thing that we could do in this photo is we could use the mask tool. And since there is so much sky, and if we want to just edit the sky
Mm,
specifically, we can
cool.
head over to one of the new features in Lightroom, and that is the select sky. It usually does a pretty good job, but yeah, I think it's selected a bit of the subject. So if you want to deselect, you just go subtract and then you just get the brush and then just sort of I'm doing a really bad job.
Yeah. James also
Yeah.
says it's really good for reading if the data is there before you select the photo. Back to the
Okay.
histogram. So that's cool. That's a cool little
Yeah,
thing.
learning
So
something.
on that dark photo, just knowing that actually there's a lot of information in there. So
Yeah.
you can bring it on to the developing module, and that way you can play with it and find out
Okay.
what's hidden beneath all the dark images you photographed that you maybe were thinking of discarding.
Yeah.
Definitely don't. You never know.
Wow. Cool. So we have this guy selected and then we can start like, changing. If you really want to go do crazy stuff, you can, um, change it a lot, but we want to keep it a little bit more natural. But yeah, it's just to show what you can do. Um, and then also, I think we can bring the highlights on a little bit more, get a little bit more detail. I think actually
Mhm.
that looks a little bit better. Maybe not that much. See what happens when we add a little bit of clarity.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
think the sky is pretty cool in this photo. Um, instead of making it white and mysterious,
Hmm.
it's cool
It's
to
very
actually,
contrasted.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because it's actually the black volcanic sand has actually captured quite a bit of the detail from the sky. So I think it's probably the best thing would be to sort of express those details as well. Okay, what do you think?
I think it looks really nice. I love being able to select things individually. It's just so much more
Yeah,
control, so much more power to like be more creative. The
yeah,
masks can get out of control sometimes because I love using them so much. So
yeah,
it's kind of interesting to be very specific that way. And if you haven't checked out the mask tools, they're fairly new, I would say. There's a lot of new features that have been developed in there. You can
yeah,
build masks on top of masks to be very specific if you just want to like edit your subject or like we see a did here, like just being able to have the sky.
yeah,
I think it looks really different. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge difference between before and after. I love it. Really nice.
Well, yeah, I always love referring back to the before and after, and then I kind of go through all of them. But yeah, it's a lot warmer than the original, which is kind of what I wanted because I like
Mm,
warmer kind of feels in my photos. But yeah, I mean, it's just once again just finding your style if you want to have cooler photos. And
okay. Cool.
yeah,
Can you share with us? I know that you're a fan of presets and you've developed a lot of them. So
yeah,
can you share with us how you would go about creating a preset of your own out of this
okay.
one?
So it's actually been a while since I think it is, where is it? It's been so long since I've created a new one. New preset. So in develop,
Yeah, under the presets.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's or you can press the plus,
Yeah, the
right?
plus button.
Okay, yeah, I was going some other weird
My
way there.
brain went also to Lightroom, the mobile version,
Oh
and
yeah,
slightly different, but very much they all do the same. They save all your settings.
yeah. I don't know why. So in develop, you can say new. I guess that creates a new preset, but then
Hmm.
this also, I guess, I think this is easier. Yeah, you can just say create presets. But since we've done a mask, we don't want to copy the mask. So we want to make sure that the mask is unchecked. Otherwise, it will save the mask. And once you use a preset, it's going to have this like exactly the sky the sky mask will be copied on all the other presets. So you want to make sure you have masks unselected, transform as well. Sometimes the effects, I don't have that included. And yeah, usually just like the basic, the tone curve, HSL, color grading,
Yeah.
details. Yeah,
So
color
basically,
correction.
you can unselect things that you don't want included, right?
Yeah. I've actually had some presets from like big creators, and they've actually had a mask, like a linear mask in one of their
Mm.
presets. And I was like, that is so weird, but yeah, I don't
So
know
you
if it's on
unselect it.
purpose. Yeah, I just have
Oh,
to, I had to, yeah, I don't know, I just delete it every time I use that preset, but I guess, yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
that's how you would, and then up here you can like rename, you can, yeah, give your preset a name and then a group. And on the left hand side, you can see like where. So these are my packs and the groups, and then you have like the presets within that. So that's what you can do like on the top section over here.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Just being able to have all of your work almost saved so
Yeah,
that you can reuse it again.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
just
So yeah,
makes
we
yeah.
have about an hour left. So I
Okay.
know a few folks on the chat are curious about your presets. If you would like to share those with us, or tell us a little bit more about them.
Oh, okay. So um they yeah, so I made these presets like super long ago, and I haven't updated them in like maybe the last 2 years, but I still really love to use them. So I'm just gonna go over them quickly just so you can see. So instead of like editing from scratch, it's just going to like put this preset over the image. And yeah, these are some of my presets. I really do love the New York one. Use it on the Barcelona photo.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It has like a glowy because it has a little bit of less clarity. It's got like this glowy kind of
Mm.
effect. But yeah, these are all my different. This is like my lifestyle pack. There's Urban Vibes one is super cool, but okay, I'm just gonna show you quickly. when you add a little bit of sometimes when you just add a little bit of cool temperature, it really, really looks good. So
Mm.
then I have a whole bunch of these other ones. I love the foam is back because yeah, you can see like the shadows are really pulled up and just has like a lot of like color in them. And then the GoPro pack, it's specifically for GoPro photos, so it's really intense. This one could kind
Right.
of work, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that I also have like an entire catalog for just mobile editing. So I have a Google Pixel, and then that profile is so different from
Wow.
a DSLR
Yeah,
photo,
yeah.
right? So it ends up being a little bit more of a higher contrast. So those presets are specific to that. So it's kind of cool. You have a
Yeah.
catalog for GoPros.
Yeah. And yeah, so I have a lot. This is my recent one is the foam preset pack, and it's just my favorite. Like I use these a lot. They are quite intense sometimes, so I do adjust the like especially in the basic panel. I do a lot of
Mm.
adjustments, but Dogtown I really enjoy. Endless Summer, Endless Roads I use a lot as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
Black and
some of the
White one's pretty
darker
good.
ones actually look really cool, very
Yeah,
dramatic.
right. Yeah, it's like, but it's like really like foam style. But yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's editing from. So this was editing from scratch, and yeah, we just went through all of my presets. So yeah, I have about like 80 of them, but it really varies on also like how you feel, how you want to like have the photo in the end, what you want it to represent, and yeah, just a lot of different options, which is great.
So you end up completing your photos in Lightroom, not in Photoshop, right? Just
No,
through
no, no.
clip.
So I only use Photoshop if I really need to delete something that's like impossible to do in Lightroom, like super big.
Mm.
And then also
Wow.
to do that little hack that I showed you guys.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
Or another so what I did with the 4x5 cropping and then sort of stretched it out on Photoshop. If you want to do like 4 stories, for example, which is that's 16 by 9, right? Yeah. Sometimes if you have like a okay, it's not gonna work. If you want to do it 16 by 9 and it's like a horizontal format photo, you can also just put it in and do into Photoshop and do the same thing, and then but then you'll be stretching the top and the bottom. But yeah, instead of the sides. Maybe I'll do an example tomorrow. Any questions?
Let's see. Oh, from YouTube, did Zia build her GoPro pack or got it from somewhere? So is it your own or is it
Yeah,
another
it's
artist?
no, these ones are mine.
So
These
you use
ones
GoPro a lot.
I used to use GoPro a lot. So yeah, like even all the names, it's based on places that I've been,
Yeah.
and yeah, so and just like the colors of each place, like inspired the preset kind of thing. So it is my own.
Yeah,
So
I was a big fan of you of using GoPro for almost everything. At some point, I would put it in between things and just see
yeah,
because if it's just about anywhere, and those perspectives are so unique.
yeah,
And yeah, it's honestly really good, really fun, really handy.
yeah. I'm gonna try find a GoPro photo to edit tomorrow. So like part of the water theme. And yeah, there's also some like tricks that I use for editing GoPro photos. We can do them from scratch. So you can sort of see how the presets are built.
Sure. Do we have another photo we can work on today to
Yeah,
showcase
yeah,
a
yeah.
few more? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, part of the lifestyle. So, okay, moving on. This is, yeah, like another sort of like lifestyle kind of photo. Um, I really like this photo because it's sort of like kind of tells a story, like, you know, with the book and you know the ocean, and this was actually for a campaign that I was doing, and it was basically promoting like remote work, like working remotely and like working on yachts. And yeah, so it was just, I actually was working, like I swear I was working
Yeah.
on this trip that I did, because I
We'll
was
take your
actually,
word for it.
yeah. Because it was Black Friday and I was working, it was like Black Week or whatever, and I was working as a social media manager and I was posting like nonstop and I wanted to puke like from the boat, like moving so much, and I was like
Oh
constantly on
yeah.
my phone. So
I'm like, that
yeah.
is a lot of talent. I've been in
Yeah.
a sailboat with the net, and the net is tricky.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, on the catamaran, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a catamaran. So the
But
first
it's a
thing,
beautiful photo. I love the framing. Um,
yeah, me too.
it just gives you a different perspective. Really nice.
Yeah. So I'm just going to align these four things, and then yeah, then you sort of have that in, you know, pull your line straight. And then I'm gonna go to the crop and 4x5 for Instagram, and then just sort of make sure that the sides and the top and the bottom, I kind of like the ocean being in line, so like in the middle. But yeah, it's important to make sure that the sides are like
Wow.
the same distance, and then we can also do that by,
I love how that works. It just changed the entire thing. It makes it look so natural that it's frontal.
yeah, yeah, right.
Wow.
Okay,
I don't think I use that as often.
oh
I tend to
really?
love the angular lines.
Oh yeah,
But
but I mean that's like total different
that's really
style as
cool.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's totally like
Good
for
to see
me.
it.
Yeah, I'm always like fixing lines and stuff because
Mhm.
yeah, but I do like angles are super cool as well. So it just depends on what you want to do. Um, so there are like these little pegs that I'm gonna remove quickly, and yeah. Okay, you're not gonna see that one, but I'm just trying to do it quickly to show you guys. So I kind of wanna, I like that there's a lot of like shadows in this photo. So I think we can do a lot with that in the tone curve. So I'm just gonna do these, building the S curves, and then just gonna lift the shadows like a little bit. So yeah, now that we're getting a little bit of color to the shadows.
Mhm. Bruce agrees with us. Interesting view.
Of what?
It's an interesting view.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Also, Bruce has a question. Can we ask what equipment Zia used or uses?
Yeah. For photography or
I imagine among the co from the GoPro, or yeah, if you want to share a little
I
bit about the software too.
okay, so equipment, I use a Canon R5,
Hmm.
which I'm quite happy with. And then I do use GoPro. I also use the GoPro Max 360, which is really cool for getting like a lot of angle and like 360 views.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that
but
GoPro.
that's, yeah, that's cool for like video. I really, really enjoy that for video. And then yeah, I think that's, yeah, just the GoPros, the cameras, and
And software
oh,
wise, Lightroom is your
just
go-to in Photoshop.
yeah, Lightroom. So when I edit, I either use my phone. Sometimes I edit on my phone or my iPad, and then I use the real Lightroom. And then
Hmm.
on my desktop, I use Lightroom Classic. So that's
Oh,
what we're doing
right.
now. Yeah, that's my.
Mm. Yeah, I think that was my workflow for a long time too. Lightroom, because Lightroom is actually cloud-based, so it communicates with
Yeah.
your iPad, it communicates with your phone. You can theoretically work on your computer just as well. And it's a nice way if you're on the go to be able to continue your editing workflow. But
Yeah,
we are all
absolutely.
lovers of Lightroom Classic. We can't let it
Yeah.
go. There's so many cool tidbits there that I just to this day enjoy. So that makes sense. That workflow makes sense for me. What you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. I I really think that like the real Lightroom, let's call it, it's so cool with like the cloud base, and I think it just really like also protects your work.
Mm,
Because
right.
I'm just working with hard drives, and they just yeah, they're super expensive, and like also like my hard drive broke the other day as well, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Did it
so
fall into the ocean
no,
while you were working from
yeah.
home from boat?
No. Um,
I couldn't
no.
imagine.
Yeah, that would be kind of scary. But
Yeah.
no, it just stopped working, and that's the thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I was so confused. And it was
Yeah.
like 16 terabytes.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
that's a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another great safekeeping, just being able to have even if you do still want to have an external drive, but you just know that a lot of these images that you've worked so hard on editing are living in the
Yeah,
cloud. It's just one of the best inventions. Dealing with this, doing photography for so long, the
yeah,
technology, like advancements of just the cloud system for me is like a great relief.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so you use Lightroom
yeah, I use
later?
Lightroom. I use Lightroom Classic from time to time, but I'm very aware of the backup system in Lightroom Classic. You
Yeah,
have to do that manually, right? Unless you have your hard drive connected all the time, which I don't encourage,
yeah,
because it could actually affect the lifespan of your hard drive.
yeah,
And I still have external hard drives, which I just always pray, you know, it's like, I hope they're
yeah.
okay.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but one of the best things is having fast internet and a
Uh-huh.
good cloud backup system. I encourage it, especially if you're on the go like you. That would be
Yeah,
great, great way.
yeah. I
Yeah.
need to start moving more into uploading my work on the cloud, but yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully.
it takes a little bit
It's difficult
of
to find,
time the
yeah.
first time, but then it just does it on itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've adjusted all the tones in the tone curve, and just to sort of lift the shadows a bit overall, the basic panel is good to do that. And what I really like to do sometimes to just check that I'm on the right path of editing is that there's like a little toggle thing over here, and then when you like toggle, you can see like what changes you've made. Yeah. So and then also
I love this. We're having movie flashbacks in the chat. Steve says that scene, this photograph reminds him of a movie called Dead Calm.
oh really?
Sam Neill sits on the sailboat in the same way.
Oh
Really
no,
cool.
really? That's so
So,
cool.
and I think it's like maybe like a thriller. So
Yeah,
you're onto
okay.
something here.
Yeah. Little cinematic movie
Mid 90s
look,
film
yeah.
throwback. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's just also changing the hues, the saturation, and in the color grading kind of. I kind of like the blue for the midtones. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
the ocean. Let's see if we do it like really saturated. Yeah, too much.
Yeah, I like that you brought some detail from the inside. So
Yeah,
we're able to
I
see.
don't know why. I like the book a lot. And see what happens with the shadows. This is cool because we have a lot of shadows in this image. So to find a good shadow is going to be really fun and interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like the like pink, either the pink or orange or the green. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yellow.
the pink on your
Pink.
hat could stand out a little bit
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Or like maybe like pink, purple. Okay, and another characteristic from film is the highlights are never like really white. There's always like a little bit of tint in the highlights, so we
Mm,
can do that here as well. So
right.
change the color a bit.
Yeah, you can attempt to achieve a complete white highlight with the eyedropper tool, which is nice, the white balance, or you can be intentional with your color on those highlights and make it a different color palette that can emulate a different
Yeah,
mood. Hmm.
exactly. I kind of like this one. I don't know, like the blue. Quite cool. You see, like then the photo, it's sort of like I always say I like warm photos, but then I end up making like photos that are a little bit cooler. But yeah.
Yeah. Josh says, Josh says they're part of the dramatic sky. They love dramatic sky, so to get super detail and replace the sky. I guess it's because that sky is so clean. It will be an easy swap.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's one of those where there's no clouds, so you can
Okay.
you could put a dinosaur back there and it would be an easy
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. In Photoshop.
Yeah. I mean, you could still use like masks and things like that, but like, yeah, that's like a photo manipulation. I think we're trying to create like more of a
Yeah.
color editing approach.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But hey, you can always remix it.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
that would be fun. So then yeah, just sort of check what the blend is doing. This feels like it's going a little bit more warm, a little bit more cooler. What do you think?
Bruce is like, the real question is, what tea is Sin drinking? I'm drinking
Oh,
matcha tea.
oh, it looks so good. I, I just have
Little by
water.
little. You have what?
Water. Just
Water.
plain old water.
Yeah.
Plain old water.
You're so funny. I love the chat. So silly.
But Bruce is on fire, right? Like in the chat.
Yeah. On fire.
I can't see the chat by the way, so keep keep telling me what's going on. Okay. Um, I think we can add a little bit of green, right?
Yeah.
To make it like more,
I'm definitely into those film vibes that everyone's referring to in the chat.
yeah,
Um, sometimes adding a little grain helps in that.
yeah.
Almost intentional as opposed to removing. We should have like chat trophies.
Yeah. Like
Here,
prizes.
you get prices on fire.
Yeah, that's super cool. Oh, I'm not quite sure if this is done yet. Let's see the before and after. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real question. Is it done?
Is it done?
Chat.
Let us know in the chat. And then one of the last things I do again is just go back to the basic panel and just play around a little bit more.
Mhm.
I think we could even make this a little bit more film vibey if we wanted. Um, I
Yeah,
think,
we could also save this preset as a
yeah.
film, call it film.
Yeah, this is pretty good. So we can also with film, especially like
90s
with the
throwback.
portrait, yeah, with the portrait, like I think it's the aquas. It's a little bit desaturated.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that's. so we could desaturate it a bit, but
You
also
practice film also?
no, I just do it for fun. Like I'm super inspired by people who do film photography. I
Mm.
think for me personally, it's like a little bit too expensive also because I love shooting like a lot of
Oh,
photos. Like I
yes.
need to take
Yeah.
a lot. So I just think that it's really cool that you can also like sort of imitate the same features as film in
Right.
digital as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I do like just look at film photography and then just try incorporate those kind of characteristics into my own
Right.
photos.
Have some references.
Yeah, exactly. Preferences.
Mm.
So usually it's like a little bit teal and then a little bit desaturated. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Does anyone have questions in the chat about like, or want to let me know something about film, like any other characteristics that I might be missing in the specific photo before we wrap it up on this photo?
Hmm. Yeah, I think, let's see, Anna says, I like it. It will never be done.
Yeah.
The photo will never be. Good
Yeah.
white balance on this photo.
White balance.
Yeah. Oh, and then do you do TikTok or dabble in videos?
So I'm really more into like inspirational, like short form. So I think TikTok is a little bit like yeah, not it's a little kind of a little bit of the opposite of that, like more
Mm,
entertainment instead of like inspirational and cinematic. So
right.
I haven't really gotten into TikTok or do like short entertainment kind of
Hmm.
films. Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, I don't know. I would like to and I love people like seeing people do those kind of things and like really finding a passion through these like short videos and things, but
Right.
I haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah, it's good to know, like, just in general what you're into, and then finding
Yeah.
those spaces that nurture that, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're into
Absolutely.
education, you have spaces like this, long form, real live videos. If you're into something a little bit more entertainment, like you said, that's a good
Yeah.
way of expressing TikTok. Very much
Yeah.
entertainment. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, for anyone in the chat say anything about being done with us?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, it's
Although they were
done.
joking
Okay.
it'll never be done, but
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
um, does Lightroom, LeBron said, does Lightroom app offer as much editing options as the Lightroom desktop version? You want to answer
So
this? The
Lightroom, is
Lightroom
this
app versus Lightroom desktop, and I think there's a confusion there that one is different.
I think the desktop, oh, you mean like Lightroom, not CC, right? Or not classic.
Right, because Lightroom Classic wouldn't have the Lightroom app. But Lightroom app
Yeah.
would be, yeah. But is there a differentiation between both Lightroom apps, um, app and desktop? I'm gonna say yes, because
Yeah.
just the way the interface is made a bit
Mhm.
more simple on
Mhm.
the mobile application. So it's a bit more straightforward. It's a wonderful way to get your feet wet and get more familiar with the app before diving into the desktop version. Um, so yeah, they're different, but all that information carries over. So you'll still have that kind of insight. It's not like you're learning information that is completely irrelevant. It changes completely, right?
Yeah.
I also found on the iPad, some editing, like the tone curve that you were using earlier, just moving that with your fingers. It's a really cool experience to just have
Oh
that like
yeah.
workflow. Yeah,
Do you
yeah. I
use a
welcome you to
pen or
try it
your
out.
fingers?
Yeah, you can use your pen or yeah, it's either way. It's like more tactile and it appears right on top of your photo, so you get to see how it moves the colors. There's something neat about that. So if you want to, spend more time on Lightroom, this is one way to do that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I just feel like, yeah, you on the desktop, you'll spend a lot more time because it seems like it's done already. Like you feel like you achieve results faster, I think, on your phone or your like iPad. But on
Yeah.
desktop, you really see like all the little details.
Right.
And, yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, like it's great to bring it into your desktop because you'll have a bigger screen and you get to see like, do I like this still? Is it
Yeah,
done? We should have
exactly.
like a done button.
Yeah. Oh, but like in real life as well. Like
Yeah, in real
someone's
life.
watching you editing, you just be like, okay, you're done. Spend too much time. Yeah.
Yeah. Bruce says, next photo, if Zia is ready, we're curious to see more amazing captures.
Okay. So let's try, I said this one because I want to try show you guys what we can do when there's like a lot of green. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of the tone curve again.
Cool.
You guys are gonna just,
Again, awesome. Okay. Like I'm loving this framing again on this photo.
yeah. We're not gonna straighten any lines in this photo, don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
So, oh man, I just love the tone curve so much. It just really makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to use. So I'm not adding another point yet and then lifting the shadows. I'm just gonna keep the shadows kind of dark.
Hmm.
And there's actually a lot of, this photo is really dark actually, if you look at the histogram. So yeah, now I'm just gonna go with the toggle on and off. And this is just the tone curve. This is just the simple like slight S curve. It's making like this difference. And I think it's like, yeah, quite subtle, but also really brings out a lot of the tones in the image. And then, so we haven't used this, what is this tool called? The color selector, right? This,
Okay.
yeah. So if we use this, we can change. I kind of like the color of these are all banana trees. This is in a banana tree forest, I think, farm. And
Right.
yeah, we can sort of change the hues if we want, but yeah, we can make it more like a greeny or like more like a yellow, but I like it the way it was. But if we do, sometimes some people like they have this signature editing style and it's to desaturate the greens, which I think is sometimes really cool as well. Um, I don't know if you've seen that quite often, like people
Mm.
desaturating greens in their
Yeah, I guess I have
photos.
because I don't know that I do it quite frequently, but I can definitely see like a lot of color desaturation to bring more focus into a subject, right? Because our
Yeah,
skin colors usually warmer in
yeah,
tone.
yeah. I've also seen it like in landscapes and like just an image of trees with like a
Hmm.
little bit of desaturation, which looks quite cool. So
Yeah. It's
um,
like a different hue of that green. Not quite
yeah,
like black and white, but something different. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I've just brought the greens down a little bit just for fun. And then we can go over to the color grading of the midtones. So I think the midtones were good the way they were. I have a feeling we're not going to do too much to this photo. um, yeah, I'm gonna leave I'm gonna leave the color grading in here. But one thing I do wanna do, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there are some bananas in the background and they are green. And
Hmm.
I kind of wanna make them yellow.
Oh,
So
cool.
let's just select them. Yeah, I don't know if you ever like go on certain things and just change the color um, of them, but like especially like fruits, I really like to emphasize like you know that they're ripe and um, just yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
a good option to have. And again, we're using the mask tool, which is really helpful
yeah,
if you want to make those selections, the specific selections.
yeah. This is the just the brush,
Mm.
um, so you can do it manually on certain areas. I don't know if you guys notice like this. I don't know if it's much of a difference, but yeah, just bringing out the lawns in the back and then just adding temperature. And I mean, it's so simple.
Oh, that's
It's so easy to
interesting.
do.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were gonna like change the color. But adding that temperature hue kind of like make it look a little bit warmer too.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
just subtle, like basic panel kind of things is sometimes all you need. Um, and then also you have like the effect amount. So that was before they were actually super green, and then yeah, in the middle. So should we see the before and after? Yeah, what do you guys think?
It's looking really cool. We have about or show us some of your favorite features here on Lightroom Classic.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool too. I feel like one of my favorites lately is definitely masks.
Yeah, I do. Masks are really cool, but I really enjoy like the turn curve for the color, just because you have so much control over changing like the color and also the color grading. This is super fun and it really helps you to truly like discover your kind of like what you like and in that sense sort of creating your own style. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the tone curve was a really nice insight.
yeah, and the color grading. Do you ever use this panel much, the hue, saturation, and luminance?
The hue, saturation, luminance. Yeah, absolutely. Especially
Yeah,
luminance.
yeah, really. I
When
don't.
it yeah, when it comes to the sky, I think it's really interesting
Okay.
to as opposed to, I guess, it's having the mindset of like, do I want to saturate this or unsatuate it? By creating more luminance, sometimes you can change that color hue into something lighter
Okay.
or darker. Yeah,
Yeah.
and bring out more information at times out
Yeah.
of a skin color. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so if you mask like somebody's skin and you use luminance, it's a really great way to kind of like acquire that exact skin color
Yeah.
that might have been washed out a bit by your flash or whatever lighting source you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Should we try? See what we can
Yeah,
do.
give it a shot. We're always here to learn like new things. So definitely it's one of those I use frequently. I think just by experimenting. Don't know that I got that
Yeah.
anywhere. But yeah.
Actually, that the luminance, bringing the luminance down makes actually kind of, yeah, makes it feel like the subject is more like inside, by bringing
Yeah.
more inside, because
Right.
before,
More dimension almost.
yeah, true. Okay, so, and then
Yeah. And you
a
can
lot of,
select each color independently. So if you were to use that
yeah,
luminance on the green, there might be a vast difference there.
oh yeah, okay, let's try it. Yeah, it makes it,
Yeah, Sean says the HSL gives you overall control of global colors. Yeah,
okay.
it's like so you get to be more specific. Your hue, saturation, luminance, that's what HSL stands for.
Yeah, yeah. I use,
Annika's like, Sean is lurking. Hey, Sean.
So yeah, I love using this tool because you can, yeah, just select and you can change. I love changing the hues sometimes, especially with water. I'll use this tool and just like make it more like teal or yeah.
Yeah, I
And
like that
also
too.
I like this tool because sometimes when I'm like photographing models and they're like, please make me look more tan.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you just go over here and then you can like with the saturation
Oh
add a
my God,
little bit.
that's such a funny request. People always tell
Yeah.
me that too. Photoshop me is the
Yeah. Like,
statement I get. Like what?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't make promises.
For me, it's always like, use your presets to make me look more tan. It's like,
Oh,
my presets don't really good, but yeah, some presets do, I guess. It just depends on, yeah, the saturation, on the skin tone colors and luminance. Yeah.
yeah. There's definitely some presets. I do think it's in Lightroom, regular Lightroom,
Yeah.
where if you have the subscription, you get to have some presets from separate artists. There's collaboration with Lightroom to be able to allocate like presets for if you have architecture photography specific to
Yeah.
that, or skin like a portraiture photography. So
Yeah.
skin is very like cared for in those presets, which is an
Yeah.
interesting like because I know you started with a preset, which is like a cool way to begin because you kind of have like a baseline of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah, the thing with presets, it's just super cool to just already have all the other colors like taken care of, and then you just have like the basic panel to play around with. So if you do have the preset set for your skin tone, then that's awesome because then you don't really have to go and change things around.
Right. It's like a big misconception that a preset, you just like slap it on and
Yeah,
it's done.
no.
It
Yeah.
actually still gives you room for creativity. So you can keep
Yeah.
playing with it the way
Yeah,
you
that's
did
true.
today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, like the lighting's always different in a photo, like things are always a lot different. Some like simply one preset is not going to work for every single photo that you have. So yeah.
Sean says use the direct selection picker. It lets you choose what color you want to adjust. The
Is it this
direct
one?
select. Mm, I think so. Yeah. Direct
Direct
selection.
selection. I don't know that tool. That is interesting. Is it this one? I call it the color selection tool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's called direct selection tool. I'm not sure. Who asked that? Or who said that?
That was Sean
Sean. Okay. Sean,
giving us
is
insiders.
is this
Yep,
the
Cashew Blue
direct?
ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That's
Yeah.
the one. Adjust the hues. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I often use that.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? There's a lot of different tools within this program that you can completely like know inside out, or you can choose to, not have it be part of your workflow, and that's
Yeah.
still going to allow you to have results. You have an entire portfolio of really cohesive photos, and your focus is you have a high focus on like the tone curve and the color grading, and so you can see that you don't have to be overwhelmed over wanting to learn everything because
Yeah.
it's helpful to just be really good at some of the elements too and play
Yeah.
with those as much as possible.
Yeah. Should we do like a quick overview of the tools that we use or
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
okay, so this was the first image. We used the transformation tool, which was over here, and used the upright. I don't know if this is, I feel like this is kind of new, a new feature, or I don't know, I just never explored this part.
Hmm.
But it's great for architecture. I think I've only started using this in the last year. I mean, I don't think 5 years ago, I don't think it was there. I'm not sure.
Five
But
years
yeah,
ago, so much has changed. So
yeah.
probably not.
Yeah, so this tool is really cool if you have multiple like horizontal and vertical lines that you want to level. So that I think that was the basic one for that one. For this photo, oh, for this one, we kind of did like a batch edit. So we copied the settings, basically the preset of this photo onto this photo, and then we just added a bit of the vignette. This one we use the mask, the select sky mask, to change just give a little bit more emphasis to the sky and change the tones a little bit. And then for this one, to make it seem a little bit more foam-like, in the tone curve, we lifted the shadows, which is the bottom left-hand corner. So we made like a simple S-curve in each of these colors, and then just lifted the shadows a little bit on each, depending on how much of color you wanted in each of those. So just to toggle that one on and off, this is just what the tone curve has done to this image. So that's great for if you want to get like foam kind of style photos.
Yeah. How do you show the before and after?
All right, so
Just
this is a before and after what we're on now. But if you go to so the word tone curve, and then on each of the kind of panels they have like yeah, on basically where the word is on the left, you can toggle on and off. I think this is like on and off. I mean, it kind of like
right.
I think that's what it does.
I think so too. Really cool.
And then also the color grading, the difference between the color grading as well. I think it makes a huge difference, but it's really cool. So that's what we've done for that. And then this one, we use the mask tool again in the back to select the bananas, the color of the bananas, and just change that. And then we use this tool, the direct color tool. I don't know. Yeah.
Nicholas says that last one was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Which one? This one?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah. Oh, and we added grain. We added grain because it was going for like the foam kind of style. So
right. Yeah. And we used plenty of masks on a lot of these, I think.
Yeah.
Right? We used that on the sky. We used it on the bananas.
Yeah.
We used it in the sailboat. Did we use it in the sailboat? No.
I don't think there was a mask. Sorry, let me just change that. That was annoying me. We didn't use a mask for this. No. We can go over here and we can see yeah, a mask would have popped up here. We don't have a mask on this one. Should we say select sky and see what happens?
Oh yeah.
Why not? Yeah, look how perfectly it selected the sky. So if we wanted to, we could bring down the highlights a little bit, make it, yeah, kind of. Yeah. It kind of looks like a desert dust storm is like on its way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this one's an easy background to select. Also, if you start playing with the luminance on that too, or even just you can start, or even dehaze is a great way to find more information.
I feel like I don't know why, but with the mask, once you go down to like luminance, I don't think you can do much. I think the mask is just the basic panel, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It looks like it doesn't give you that. Yeah, I would say like using the haze could be a nice way of showing some more information.
Dehaze?
Yeah.
Or add haze.
Cool.
More haze or less haze?
I'm gonna say, well, it depends. Just play with that, I guess. Yeah. Kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I think I like a little bit more like texture.
Oh, and then also, I think it was Sean said that the backslash is a good shortcut. I love shortcuts for before and after.
Okay, I'm gonna try. No, I don't think. Oh no. Oh no, I knew that was gonna happen. I'm not gonna try press anything. The backslash. Okay, wait. Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. You're like, oh no. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, because sometimes when I'm editing, I accidentally press like one random button and then like everything just
Oh
like
yeah.
collapses or something crazy happens. Okay, yeah,
Panic
that's cool.
ensues.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen. I pressed the forward slash, not the backslash, but now I found it.
Oh,
Cool.
I don't
Thank
even know where
you.
that forward slash is. Okay, there it is. Never use
That
that.
is really cool. Yeah. I always, yeah, I just go like that and but I guess that is so much cooler. Should we try edit one more photo?
We have about 10 minutes. So if you want to, also, I know you worked on Photoshop too. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to review what we did there and then let us know what we are going to be working on tomorrow would be really cool. A little
Okay.
insider.
Okay, cool. So on Photoshop, wait, let me just move the screen. So in Photoshop, how do you see the original? See, I'm like really bad in Photoshop. I didn't create any layers. So basically
Oh,
this,
the history
yeah.
panel, I think that would be probably the best way.
Um, how do you,
Oh, usually if you don't see it right away, it would be like Windows
uh,
history. And then it's a good way to
uh,
just, yeah. Because I think, yeah, oftentimes we forget to create layers, and that's fair. You know, it's like an
yeah,
easy, fast edit. So the history panel is a great way to undo without, because there's undo kind of gives you like only a few times you can undo, whereas history panel goes all the way back to the beginning.
oh,
It's
okay.
like, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the best time machine you could think of
yeah.
because you could go back
You
in
know,
time.
I actually learned Photoshop before I learned Lightroom.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I do remember these tools, but I've forgotten because I just, yeah, I don't use this. I didn't use Photoshop so much anymore. But
Yeah,
it's such a great program as well.
I think Lightroom is like your carrot, you know,
Yeah.
and you just need a carrot to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So with this photo, we use the content aware tool, which is
Mm.
what we use to stretch the image. So the image before, actually in Lightroom, we can show. So this was the image before, and the sort of the cathedral is a little bit like not in center. So if you go through there, it was a little bit off on the side, like over here. So, and also we wanted to add more to the side to make it more suitable for social media, for Instagram, for example, for the 4:5. So that's what we
Yeah.
did there. We used the 4:5 crop tool, and then we stretched the image because originally the image was kind of like, I guess it was like that, right? It was like something like that.
Yeah, it's a really wild decision because I wouldn't think of creating. It's interesting because if you don't have a wide angle lens and you did take a
Exactly.
closer in
Yeah.
photo, it does create a different impact when you just have this it seems more magnanimous to be able to see like the architecture and these little
Yeah.
people, right? Like that's one way you can determine scale is seeing people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I like that workflow.
Yeah. So yeah, I just exactly. So if I don't have this was taken on like quite a wide angle, but I
Mm.
wanted to add more context. So like yeah, and also when you see like also how massive the building was, and we are actually super lucky this morning because there was I think I waited for someone to leave before I took this photo, but otherwise it's quite tricky to have to have people in the background and remove it. So it's better to not have people. But in this case, I waited, so I didn't have to remove the person. So I had all this space to work with and like to make it feel even more like give it more context and how much space and how massive like this area actually is. Like this is a cool way to do it and how to show it.
Yeah, I honestly really like I think that that's kind of like a really cool way to just show off a little bit more of the space and kind of reinvent the composition. That's
Exactly.
yeah, really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Sean says, was it Sean? Oh no, it was Nicholas who said, The original will be in Lightroom. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sean said actually that one of the ways that you can also edit is going directly from Lightroom, grabbing the Lightroom file and into Photoshop. So if you right click on the photo, you can go into edit in Photoshop,
Yeah.
and it just will keep the original photo, and that's kind of cool. That's another way
Oh
to
yeah.
see the beginning of it, unless you save it and then it would update. So that's cool trick there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you let us know a little bit about what we're going to be doing tomorrow before we? Yeah.
Sure. So tomorrow we're going to be doing, I'm just going to head over and show you a little sneak peek. So I really love surf photography. So I'm going to show you how I edit like my surf photos. Sorry. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at some action, so some surf photography and underwater photos as well, how I edit the photos underwater, because editing photos taken underwater is a little bit challenging because it kind of starts, the deeper you go, and especially as soon as you start going beneath the surface, you start losing like a lot of colors, especially with like skin tones and those kinds of things. And then also like split photography.
There's also less light.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, less light. Yeah, exactly.
I imagine a lot of challenges.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you how I do it, how I achieve like how to bring back the colors and how to make the water look super clear. Yeah.
Were those photos taken also in Bali? I'm so curious. It just looks slightly different.
So this was in South Africa. This was in El Salvador.
Oh,
this
wow.
was Maldives. This was Costa Rica.
Nice.
I've been like all over, yeah. And this was Canary Islands.
I love that you spent time in Central America. That's where I'm from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really? Which part?
Yeah, Honduras.
Wow, I haven't been there. I've just been to Costa Rica and El Salvador. But
yeah, I've been to Costa Rica too. So beautiful.
Yeah, super nice, super wild.
Super cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited to see all the different changes that you make on these photos, because I know that like in general, having different light conditions and different environments are just different challenges that you have to tackle in Lightroom. It's not always the same exact workflow. It all depends on the kind of photos that you are working with. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you have photos, underwater photos, or any photos that around the beautiful sea, definitely try, edit with us alongside. I think that is really fun. I love doing that on all live streams. And thank you all for joining us. And definitely join us tomorrow for part 2. It's going to be super cool at 9:30 Pacific time, editing in Lightroom and Photoshop still, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we can try to do something in Photoshop.
Underwater. So that's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to check those out. And stick around for branding bootcamp with Alex. I forgot your last name, Alex, but with Alex, where he's going to be teaching you all of the different ways you can use typographic hierarchies to express your branding. And I think that's a big one. I love being able to play with typography. So definitely check that out. And thank you all so much for joining us and for being part of the chat. You're always so fun and funny, and I love that. So, and thank you, Zia.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for everyone that communicated in the chat. I think I've actually learned something today as well, so thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you all.
Bye.